Hi everyone, welcome to another video. So today's video I'm going to be doing a full get ready with me. To start off with, I am going to go ahead and put on my primer and stuff like that, just so that I can give the primer some time to like settle down, and then I will go over what this video is going to be about. So I'm going to go in with the Dominique Cosmetics Ultra Hydrating Primer, the one that doesn't exist anymore. I just recently, finally, after months of just constantly forgetting, I finally did shave the little peach fuzz off my face. So hopefully my foundation will lay down a little bit better. Okay, so I put on some face primer, I did put on some under eye primer, and now I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of let all of that set. I also really like to put on a little layer of setting spray. Okay, so I was wanting to use this video as a chance to talk about some of the stuff I got on my Sephora sale. I wanted to use it. To start off with, I wanted to focus my eyes and cheeks around the Danessa Myricks palette, which I know I'm leaving the plastic on because I'm a monster. I have never tried Groundworks, but the pinks in this really caught my eye, and it seems like these are not like dewy, these are more of like natural slash matte, so I wanted to try that. So I'm gonna definitely be mostly focusing on this today, and to pull in some sparkle I was planning on just using my singles. So not using my entire Sephora haul, because my Sephora haul also consisted of 2 other palettes, and if I'm using this on my eyes I don't think I'm gonna have room to use the other ones. And then lastly, my YesStyle haul from March finally came in. Now if you ever order anything from YesStyle that says will ship within 21 days, do expect it to take 21 business days. You have to be patient, you know, these things can take a while. My YesStyle order did finally come in. It was pretty sizable, and I do want to make another K-Beauty order soon to get the new Roman Spring Fever collection, because I had a lot of people tell me they really liked my gloss review, so I really want to review that. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. But I do really want to use this WAKEMAKE foundation today. I have already used this a couple times, and the reason I'm keeping it in the box is because I want to use this K-Beauty haul as a chance to start practicing filming short form content and make a habit of filming short form content. So that's why it's still all in the box, because I want to try it. I really do. But I don't know. We'll see. But this is the WAKEMAKE Water Glow Coating Foundation, and I have it in the shade 19. I cannot overstate how crazy viral this foundation went in South Korea. And part of it, of course, when things go viral in South Korea, and you see this bleeding into international TikTok as well, but it's been a very common thing, and a lot of South Korean consumers are aware of this, that when things go viral and when products are being touted as the new best thing, it's pretty much always because a brand is heavily sponsoring it. So when the WAKEMAKE foundation first came out, WAKEMAKE sponsored so many people to push it, and of course put it front and center in Olive Young, and so then of course a lot of people go out and buy it because the sponsorships all said it was good. But in this case the product is actually really good. Like, actually they're not lying. WAKEMAKE was not lying when they said that this is a really good foundation. This is a foundation meant to give you the boiled or peeled egg effect on your skin, and I have found that to be pretty true. I like it. When I saw Hoonyeon do an unsponsored review of it where he also agreed that it's just so good, I was like, alright, I'm throwing it in my cart. I need to buy it because Hoonyeon said it was good. But so whenever Minsko or Hoonyeon both like something, I generally will take that as my cue to be like, okay, it must be pretty good, because Hoonyeon and Minsko both do videos where they will explicitly say it's not an ad. So when they do that, I really watch out for what they like. Of course, after the ad scandal from a couple years ago in South Korea, it is now mandatory to disclose PR, sponsor, etc. in the video, and they are much more strict about it than the FTC is in the USA. Like, you get caught and penalized much easier, so you can't hide stuff there. So it's very easy now for me when I'm watching South Korean creators to see if it's sponsored or not. So it makes it very easy for me to see, because I'll usually see in the video title it'll say ad with a red emoji X, which means no ads. So you can see here that it is a little bit on the thicker side, and you can already see just how glossy this foundation is going to look. As I mentioned before, I have very dry skin, so this foundation is kind of like a dream for me, honestly. I really like it. There is a cushion version of this as well, which also became really crazy popular. I did have it sitting in my YesStyle cart for a while, but I really was, I have to cut my my YesStyle cart will always, like, if I were to add everything I wanted to it, it would be what, like $1,000, and I was like, okay, yeah, no. So I don't really use cushion foundations as often as I wish I would, so I decided to remove it, although I have heard it is so good. It's not the same as the foundation, it is just amazing from what I hear, so it's definitely something that I would like to get eventually if it doesn't sell out, but we'll see. I definitely wanted to try the liquid foundation first. I considered getting maybe just the refill and I'll unseal it when I know I'm going to use it, but the refill I think sold out. And this foundation also really sticks down to my skin really well. The adherence is really high, which is great. I know that's something that in Korea it's very heavily prioritized and talked about will be like foundation adherence. That's a really big topic. And I think this shade match 19 is a very good shade match for me. So WAKEMAKE shades run a little bit light, so if you're usually 21, then stick with 21. But if 21 has traditionally always been too dark for you, but then 17 is too light for you, I think you will find that 19 is really, really good. So that is the Water Glow foundation, and you can just see it just immediately gives such a glowy effect, but it doesn't feel sticky. It doesn't like feel like I have heavy foundation on my skin, and the pore coverage is really great. Now it is going to show a little bit of texture just because it is so glowy. Like obviously that's not easy to avoid, but overall I've been really liking this foundation lately, and I do really like how it is also very like hydrating. And I pumped out like 2 pumps and that was too much. I should have just pumped out like 1 pump. Okay, so I'm going to go in with concealer now. I've been really liking using the NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer. I got it half off during Ulta 21 Days of Beauty because I was thinking to myself that, you know, it's like a rite of passage for YouTubers where like if you don't have this then you're not a real YouTuber. And for half off I was like, why not? So I got it, and it's actually not bad. If I'm wearing foundations that are a little bit lighter than my face, which of course then matches my neck, then this is a really great one to use. But if I'm using a foundation that is tanner than me, like for example the About Face one, even if I mix lighter products into that, it'll still be a little bit dark. If I were to use this, then I would look like I have like white spots under my eyes. And the coverage is not bad. I think it is easier to use than JX Professional. For me, I don't find the shade to match me as well as JX Professional. That's the only like thing. Kind of blend it out with my finger. I applied a little too much on the inner corner area. I like to go in with a little bit of powder foundation, and I'm going to use my Urban Decay powder foundation. I think my ISO might be a bit high. I don't know. I'll see. I might turn it down next video. I don't know. And I'm going to use this just to apply a little bit more coverage. I think Urban Decay is discontinuing this, which I don't know why they would do that. They keep discontinuing all the stuff that people like. I heard their new foundation, the Squeezy Tube one, is pretty good, but I don't think it's necessarily for me. I'm tempted to try it because I've heard it's so smoothing, but it definitely was advertised for people with oilier skin, so I don't think it would be a smart idea for me to try it. I might just like swatch it in store just to scratch my itch, but other than that, I don't know. Next, I'm going to use the Milk Hydro Grip Primer. I thought initially maybe I shouldn't use primer if I'm using Danessa Myricks, but I'll just use a little bit. So far, I find this to be a pretty interesting primer formula. I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. I have tried it under my eyes, but not enough times to like have a fully formed opinion. As an eye primer, it's interesting. It feels a little bit like it feels a little bit slick. Like it doesn't feel as thick and creamy as the Fenty Beauty one, and it feels almost a little bit oily. Like it has that sensation to it of oiliness because it's a lot thinner. And then as I pat it out, it's not feeling as tacky as the Fenty Beauty one, and it's thinner than the Suku one. So I don't really know how I feel about it yet. I can definitely say with confidence it's not drying on me at all, which I will take. Very grateful, but at the same time I'm not sure if as an eyelid primer it's doing anything, so I'm still figuring that out. I think as an under eye primer I will grow till I need to use it more on my under eyes before I decide, but so far my experience with using it under my eyes has not been negative, so I think that's good. It just takes me a while to figure out and test complexion products. Like it really does take me a while. I'm gonna do my eyebrows. I don't have any new eyebrow products, so I'm just gonna like speed through this editing wise. I'm just using the Too Faced pomade and a pencil, but I think this is all that's left, so I'm very happy that I'm finally panning this, and I don't think I'm gonna repurchase it. And I am gonna try and keep my brows a little bit on the lighter side. It is so hard to do that with this product, but I will try. Okay, yeah, I definitely have run this little guy down. Congratulations to me. I know panning an eyebrow product is like really not that big of a deal, but congrats. That is it. That is it for this product. It is gone. I'm going to finish up my eyebrows with my Glossier Brow Flick in black. I had a commenter suggest that I start storing them horizontally instead of vertically and see how that happens and see how that helps, and I am suddenly getting a lot more life out of this brow product that I thought I was running out of, so I haven't had to open my backup just yet. That's always nice. I feel like of all the products I go through, I do go through Brow Flicks the fastest. Okay, that is the eyebrows on. They're not looking too bad. I always am forgetting to use this, but I am going to use my brow gel today. I just want to make sure I remember to use it more often. This is just my Glossier Boy Brow. I found this at TJ Maxx for like, what, like $8 or something? So, but I want to remember to use brow gels more often. I kind of want to try the Persona one. I've heard that one's pretty good. My brows are very stubborn, like, you know, Asian brows, Asian eyelashes, they're all stubborn hairs that don't really want to do what you tell them to. But I'm not usually looking for brow gels to like slick my brows in place. If I want to do that, I'll buy a brow wax. I just want them to be fluffed up a little bit because usually, you know, they're pointing down. If I do want to point them all the way up, I do actually have to trim them because the individual strands are very long. So if I were to like make them turn into feather brows, they'd be like so long, it would look so stupid. So that's the other reason I don't usually want them to be super fluffy. I just want them to be pointing up a little bit more than they are. Now it is finally time to use the Blooming Romance palette. I forgot how to read for a second. This is what it looks like. It is really, really pretty. I definitely will want to bring in some kind of shimmery shade, and so I'll figure out what I want that to be. I'm not sure yet. Oh, it's gonna be so hard to edit this video because I am so scatterbrained right now. So I brought out a variety of brushes. Some of them are natural, some of them are synthetic, so I think it'll be a good time. Okay, I'm gonna try using this denser brush first. This is just an Laura Lee Los Angeles brush. Her brushes are actually not bad. I hate saying it, but I wish I could get multiple. I'm like, seriously, it gets very tempting to buy multiples of her brush sets because especially her face brushes are some of the softest powder face brushes I've ever tried. I feel like I could go pretty dark and then lighten up. It should be fine, right? So I'm gonna go into Bliss. Yeah. I'm going to go into Bliss right here. It's kind of a middle of the road shade, so I can go and blend it out, or I can deepen it up with the next shades. Okay, yeah, so this pomade does definitely feel a lot more on the dry side of things. I didn't even get a chance to swatch or sample Groundworks or Blooming Romance in Sephora because here's the thing. If you try and swatch the tester, it's useless because you leave a tester with creams in it sitting out and open all day long, you're not going to be able to swatch it. It'll have gone dry. So I would swatch it in store in Sephora and it would never give me anything, and I'd be like, well, I just can't tell how this product is going to perform because swatching it at Sephora in that kind of state, it's not really an accurate indication of the actual performance. When I bought Blooming Romance, I was like, I'm definitely taking a bit of a risk here because, you know, I've never actually been able to experience it properly, but at the same time I really wanted to try it. So as you can see, it's actually quite matte. That looks really, really pretty. It's reminding me of the shade I tried to use from the Lancome liquid shadows, but of course it looks way better. I'm going to switch back to the flatter brush. So that is the shade Bliss Laid Down. It definitely looks a little bit lighter on my eyelid than it does in the pan, which doesn't surprise me when it comes to creamy cream shadows. Like Natasha Denona's cream to powder shadows definitely do this, and I also am blending it out and stuff like that. Next, I'm going to go into, I think I'm gonna try using XO. I want to see how dark I can build this. I kind of just want to do something really, really dark. So I'm going to create a very thick shadow wing. Kind of miss doing really thick eyeliner, so I'm just feeling like it right now. And I am planning on using the powder shadows to blend these out, but even with just the very crude laydown that I've done, they're already kind of starting to blend into each other anyways. This is definitely one of those products where if you watch reviews and you swatch the dried out grubby products in store, you're still not going to be able to get a full scope of it unless you have a, you know, fresh product that's not dried out that you can test yourself. So like if you have a friend who has it or if you buy it yourself, it's just not really, you're not really going to be able to comprehend the texture unless you actually like can use it, which is kind of frustrating because like, you know, that the reason I was deterred from buying this for so long was because I didn't really know what to make of it. Of course, it seems like her brand is doing just fine. She has so many things coming out. So many people love her brand, and rightly so. She has so many amazing ideas. I'm going to go into the Evermore powder, which is right here. I don't know how pigmented this is going to be, but I'm just going to use this to set and blend. And then I'm going to go into the darkest matte, which is XO. I'm going to switch to a tinier brush and use this just really close. I want to use one of the lighter powder mattes to blend out the top of the eye look. So I'm going to go into Dreamy, which is this right here. Ooh, that is so pretty. Okay, and then I'm going to use the Evermore matte and I'm going to start building up the lower lash line. I do have some residual mascara hanging out down on the lower lash line, so just ignore it. I sometimes get really lazy about getting all the mascara off. And then I'm going to go into the Crush shade, which is the lightest pink powder. And I'm going to use that underneath to blend it out. And I just want to add like the most subtle hint of pink without it being overwhelming. And then I want to try right on the outer corner, I'm going to add some Dreamy. Yeah, like right in the outer corner, I like doing that. And it'll also provide a point for my blush to connect later. And then I think I am going to take some of the Dreamy powder because it's a little bit pinker than the cream. And I'm just going to use this like right in the middle just to add that pink back. I like how I am layering on a lot of these powders, but I don't feel dry at all. Like my eyelids still feel like there's not anything applied to them. They feel very weightless and just normal. They don't look dry either. They don't look overly matte. So I do really appreciate that the texture of these powders and creams do seem to be very dry eyelid friendly. So that makes it really nice for me. So I'm going to go into the Dreamy blush by just tapping in a narrower blush brush very carefully, and then I'm going to try and apply it. And then I'm going to go into a smaller brush and I'm going to go into Bliss the Pomade. This is going to be a pretty dark shade for a blush, so I'm using a smaller brush because I just want to blend it out right kind of up by my eyeshadow. I did not powder my face before using these products. Yeah, it just adds a nice subtle shadow. Yeah, I like applying a lot of blush, so if you think this is too much blush, that's fine, that's your opinion. Okay, so I do know that it was mentioned that these can be used on the lips, but I feel like my lips would get really dry if I tried to use them, so I'm not going to do that. But here is what everything is looking like. It is so beautiful. I do really like how it turned out. I was thinking that the mattes for XO and Evermore would be a lot darker, like the XO and Evermore would be a lot darker than they actually look on the eye, but with cream shadows in general, it's usually not going to turn out as dark just because, like, I mean, that's just kind of how cream shadows work. They tend to visually look darker because there is some moisture in the pan. But anyways, I still really like how this turned out. So I think I do want to use a little bit of eyeliner. So my brown eyeliner is all dried up, so I don't have any liquid brown liners right now. I really need to remind myself to get some. So for the time being, I'm just going to use a gel eyeliner. So I'm going to use this one from CLIO. I feel like it's starting to dry out a little bit, so I may need to cut the tip off. Yeah, this is starting to behave kind of wonky. That was not what I intended on doing. Okay, yeah, that did not turn out how I was hoping for because the eyeliner was not behaving how I was hoping for it to behave, so. Then I'll just take a little bit of the whatever's left on this brush and just kind of just darken up the outer corner a little bit. The eye look was looking good up until I tried to add eyeliner, and then of course I messed up everything, so I do apologize, but here is what the eye look is looking like. I think it still looks alright, and it'll look much better once I put on my false lashes. I'm really happy about this, and this does make me really want to try Groundworks. I'm hoping that maybe it'll go on sale during a Danessa Myricks sale. Maybe it'll even go 50% off. That'd be nice. I'd buy 50% off for sure. So I am going to put on my false lashes, and then I'm going to decide what kind of eyeshadow single I want to put on top of this, and then finish up the makeup. Okay, so just for those who are curious, I am kind of already starting to notice like the tiniest bit of creasing. So let me see if I can show you what I'm talking about. So do you see here? And then here. It's like so minute and tiny, but I do feel like if I wore it for longer it would probably get a little bit worse. So I think what I'm gonna have to do is, I think that the kind of more like oily, slippery, moisture content of this Hydro Grip Primer might be a little bit unnecessary now that I know how soft and non-drying that this formula is, both the pomades and the powders. I feel like this might have been a little bit too much. So next time I'm going to try it next with both the Fenty eye primer and the Rare Beauty eye primer. I'm going to try it with both of these and see what happens. So I'm going to move on to the rest of my face now. And also I'm going to, I did decide off camera, I thought this might have been the perfect opportunity to use one of the CLIO Nude Fruit Lighters, but I've already used those and I haven't even touched this KRYPTEIN Cosmetics shadow yet. So I just really want to dive into this shadow and see what it's all about. That's what it looks like. It is called Fairyland, and I'm going to use this. I'm not going to use like a super large quantity of this. I do want to keep it a little bit not as like packed on. Sorry, I'm like not making much sense right now. So I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna pack it on the inner corner mostly. Oh yeah, this definitely, it has so many different colors of reflect inside of it, so it's not just that it seems like it has shifts, but that the individual reflects all come in different colors. It almost feels one step away from holographic. And I'm just going to also very lightly disperse this across the top of the eye look for a little bit of added sparkle. And just the lightest touch with the brush, I'm getting such a nice opaque laydown. I do have the palette on my to-do list. I do really want to film with that sooner rather than later, but obviously with the way that my condition is going, it's hard to say. I have been started on new medications. I do have my diagnoses and things like that, so I'm not going to really talk about it too much now. I thought I was going to, but I would need to like actually like plan ahead in advance what I want to say. But some of these medications can take, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, even 6 months before you really start seeing if they're helping or not. So I'm just being patient. I'm not like expecting a miracle or anything. I think so far it is helping, but the other problem I have is I've never been good about taking my meds on time. I'm always forgetting. So I think that's the other thing kind of holding me back, is that I have times where I just straight up forget to take my meds, which they're not going to help you if you don't take them. So I'm really hoping that the end result is that I can have a little bit more energy and I can do more things and be more productive, and I'm hoping I can like be more productive, get more done, and then brands will actually see me as being worth the investment. Because right now I'm like practically worthless. in the eyes of like a business, you know what I mean? I want to do a little bit of an inner corner defining thing. That was so specific. I'm just going to use another eyeliner for that. I'm going to use a lighter brown shade. It's kind of the same shade of brown that the Benefit would have been if I still had that one. And I always like to put liner on my inner corner. This is nothing new. I think this look would have really looked good with like a light brown eyeliner in the waterline as well, but I'm too lazy, so I'm just gonna skip it. I'm gonna go into Fractal Freesia from PHYTOSURGENCE. This is like my favorite topper shade ever. It's very hard for me to get my fingers in the pot when I have nails, but I'm gonna just dab this across my eyelid with my finger. And it'll also, adding a little bit of sparkle also can help with like concealing signs of creasing. So like if you feel like your eyeshadow is going to crease and you don't want people to notice, you can just throw some sparkle on. It'll distract from the creasing. I do want to apply just a little bit of bronzer, and this is one of those times where I really wish I had bought the NYX Buttermelt bronzer so that I could have a rosier bronzer, because I don't have one, and I really wish I had one. But I was going to buy it from Ulta, but I heard reports of it arriving shattered because of the fact that it is so soft. So I wanted to get it myself in store, but I haven't really seen it in store. I was thinking about maybe getting it at Target. I'm not so sure. So I'm just going to go into, I'm going to mix the two shades in this KALEIDOS Symphony Contour Trio, because this powder is a little bit pink. So I'm just going to kind of mix these two shades, and hopefully that can kind of give me the same effect as a rosy toned bronzer. I feel like NYX is like, that's like NYX's like flagship product of this year. Like, wow, they really had a good idea and went with it. Like, I actually, like, I had a hard time initially believing that that was coming from NYX, because NYX can sometimes be a little bit silly, but like I was like, okay, I really want those. So I do really want to buy them, but I haven't really had easy access to them yet. Not to mention my makeup budget got completely eaten up by Jackson's vet bills. And at the time that I'm filming this, Gates has a vet appointment tomorrow because he decided to start having diarrhea. He's insured. Jackson developed IBD and had all kinds of problems, and he's basically uninsurable, so I don't even bother with him because nothing he has would be covered. But Gates I was able to insure before he became a problem, so it won't be as expensive. It's just one of those things where it's like, really? Gates? Really? And like, he's fine. It's not a life-threatening situation, thankfully, so I don't have to take him to the ER. He's eating, he's playing, he's acting completely normal. It's just that his poop is a puddle, and it shouldn't be. So I'm hoping it's a pretty simple fix. Last time Jackson got it, last time Jackson had it on and off and I couldn't get it under control, he was finally started on prednisone. That kept it under control. He hasn't really had an issue ever since. So if Gates needs prednisone, I can start him on that, or I'm hoping maybe it can just be simply and easily fixed with metronidazole, which I've used in the past as well. So, but yeah, I was like, Gates, really? You really just had to do this right? Like a week after Jackson had pancreatitis, and he's still recovering. Like, it's steady progress, but he's still recovering. And now Gates is like, oh, okay, it's my turn to get sick? No, it's not, Gates. He's so... cats. I mean, they're brothers, so it figures that they'll do this kind of stuff at the same time, but I was just like, oh, I hope it's not too expensive. Okay, so I just added a little bit, tiniest bit of contour. I didn't want it to be too cool, and I didn't want it to be too like bronzy. I really... Again, this would have been a perfect time to be like, oh, and I have the perfect rosy tone blush for it. I was initially thinking about getting the Jones Road one. I was thinking about that initially, but it just never really happened. And I know that Lancome just revealed, or Makeup on Your Radar just revealed that Lancome's releasing some, and some of those tones looked interesting to me. So we'll see. I have options, but I think I really am gunning to just try those NYX ones whenever I can finally get a hold of them. I'm just gonna maybe see if they're like at Target or something. Maybe they're cheaper there. Maybe I can have like, maybe if I have a coupon, I don't know. For my powder, I don't really want to like get rid of the glow though. So I'm going to use, let me think. I'm going to use my Kogendo Brightening Moisture Powder. This is just my go-to powder with my skin being so dry. You can see it does have a dip in that you are starting to see some baby pan, which is great. And I personally I really do love this powder. It has been a favorite of mine for years. I've had this powder since 2018. This powder has matured. It is experienced and wizened in the ways of makeup, but it still looks, acts, and smells the exact same. The power of preservatives, I'm telling you. So I still adore this product and I still use it. And it's not as effective in the summer because it doesn't really set your makeup for like wear time. So if you have really oily skin, this I think would be better for you as a finishing powder because you can either pat it on or you can swirl it in really nicely. But for me with my dry skin during the winter, this sets my makeup just fine. But during the summer, I don't use it as often. I use other powders during the summer. But winter, spring, fall, yeah, I like this powder. And you can see how the glow of my skin has still been preserved, but my skin now is no longer going to transfer. So that's the other really cool part about this powder, is that it doesn't mattify and it doesn't have glow. It just, your skin looks how you want it to. Like once you get the finish you want, you can use this powder. It won't alter the finish of your skin in any way, but it does blur your texture, which is really cool. Like my pores are super blurred now. I need highlighter. That would be helpful, wouldn't it? Yeah. So I do really want the new Fenty highlighters, but I'm probably just gonna wait for them to eventually hit sale because like I don't think I want to pay full price for that. But I am going to use Lightning Dust Fire Crystal. I got this half off. Definitely one of those like older highlighter products, but I actually quite like it. So I like to use both sides. I use the subtle side first and I apply that pretty broadly. I know Tara Babies uses a stick highlighter underneath her powder highlighter to make it stick down, and I've wanted to try that, but the one she uses and she likes is from ABH. There's not that many stick highlighters on the market that I really would be interested in trying because the luxury ones just seem so overpriced. A lot of the other ones available have no preservatives, and then there's like the ABH one, but I don't support ABH right now, so I'm not really sure if I want to try it. So as you can see, this highlighter on the left side is so subtle, which is why I was like, okay, I initially thought that the highlighter, the new subtle highlighters, I was like, yeah, but the left side of this is pretty subtle. But then I saw people using it on YouTube and it actually seems like it's more of a middle ground between the left and the right sides of this duo. So it's not gonna be, it's not anywhere near as subtle as this side, but it's also not, it's not sparkly like this side is. So I'm gonna go into this side now, and I like to apply that just right on top in the center area, and you can see how it is a lot brighter and it also has some sparkle in it. And so the new one that Fenty Beauty released, it's kind of like a middle ground between these two, like if you fuse the two together. So when I thought about that, I was like, oh, that's actually pretty interesting. So I do kind of want it, and I want the Natasha Denona one too. I'm a sucker for highlighter, I will admit. I love collecting highlighters. The one product I definitely have an excessive amount of is highlighters. At least with blushes I have like different colors, finishes, and formulas, but highlighter is a highlighter, but I don't care, I like highlighter. Okay, and then last is going to be the lipstick, and I do want to use another Sephora product that I got. I really want to use this lip oil. I think it should match. It's a little bit cooler and I used a lot of warmer shades, but I think I should be able to make it work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a warmer base color. This is Haus Labs Le Monster Lip Crayon in Peach Matte. I actually quite like using this to overline my lips. I got this in a BoxyCharm when I was subscribed to BoxyCharm for all of 2 seconds, but then I unsubscribed. I didn't really feel like it was worth it. This is not an ideal lip liner because it is very pigmented, it's very creamy, and so it's very easy to lose control of, but I really wanted the outer rim of my lips to be very warm. So this is the Guerlain Kiss Kiss Me Glow Oil in Pop Rose Glow. I had like 3 shades of this in my cart, but I was like, no, come on. Just try one. If you like it, you can get more, but like, you know, let's be reasonable here. It seemed like it would be more pigmented than the Dior ones from swatches. That's why I had so many in my cart, but I was like, you know what? You don't know for sure because, you know, you haven't tested them yourself yet. You don't know. Maybe they are not as pigmented and this people are just making it look more pigmented than it is. It does feel thicker than the Dior one. It's more pigmented than like the Dior Peach or something, which is essentially transparent. Has a little bit of stick to it, but that's just because it has like, it's very thick. I want to use something on the outer corner of my lips. I don't like taking lip oil all the way to my lip corners because that just gets really messy, but I do need something there just so that it looks like I put something, just so I can contour my lips a little bit. So I'm just going to do that really quickly with a random lip product. Okay, I think that is the makeup look. I will use the rest of my Sephora order ASAP. I still have the Hibiscus Haze, I have the YSL Quad, I have the Dior 9 pan. I do want to make sure I use those soon. I have a lot on my plate. I need to start, I had kind of stopped writing down my priority list, and I had stopped writing down the days that I filmed because I just have gotten really busy, and then I got really tired, but I need to start doing that again. It helps keep me motivated, and it just kind of helps keep me on the rails. So this is what my makeup is looking like. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I like how it kind of matches my hair color too a little bit. My hair is frizzy, I'm sorry, but it's a little bit less frizzy. I'm using my hair serum every night, so I feel like my hair is slowly getting better, but it's just, you know, it's one of those things that it takes a while. But yeah. I was hoping to go back to China to get my hair re-straightened, because when my hair is re-straightened I don't have frizz. The reason that it's frizz up here is because this is all like new growth ever since I got my hair straightened last, but I don't know when I'll be able to go, and getting it done in the US is very expensive and I don't necessarily have the money to do that anytime soon. But we'll see. So yeah. I do hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's not really like the super most useful video in the world when it comes to like, oh, should I buy this or not? But I hope you guys enjoyed seeing just a very simple pink look. I do personally really like how I look with pink eyeshadow. I used to be so averse to pink when I was a teenager, but you know, internalized misogyny really gets you. So I do really like the color pink now, and yeah. So I hope you guys really like this. Maybe got some ideas on how to incorporate more pink into your look. And because obviously none of these shades are unique to the palette. I would say the Groundwork formula and the dual pomade cream situation is definitely something that is a little bit more unique to her, but other than that, I do think you can definitely recreate this look with shadows you already own. The KRYPTEIN Cosmetics single is definitely a very unique one, but even then, like, you can still mimic the look of like a really shifty sparkly eyeshadow on your eyelid with just about anything else. I find it really interesting that it looked so purple in the pan, but on my eyes it is reading as a lot more orange. So definitely going to be one of those shadows where if I ask my friend what they see, they're going to see quite an interesting shift. I don't see the purple, but it's funny because like if I like, here's the eyeshadow and then here's it on my eyelid. Do you see how different that looks? So definitely this eyeshadow is going to have some crazy shifts. So if I were to use it all over my eyelid, I think I'll see it. So I definitely want to use that eyeshadow more, but it's just a really fun way for me to incorporate something just a little bit extra. But yeah, I've rambled for long enough. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope to see you guys in the next video, and we'll do more get ready with me's and stuff like that. And yeah, okay, I think that's it. I ran out of things to say. So yeah, take care. See you in the next video, hopefully. Bye-bye.